KVNU Logan, 610 AM and 102.1 FM. It's KVNU Aggie Game Day, getting you ready for tonight's Utah State basketball game. Step back, got it! With longtime voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis, and one of USU's best ever, Jalen Moore, breaking down the game. Plus, feature interviews with players and coaches, and all the information on the college basketball scene. KVNU Aggie Game Day is brought to you by Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, LSS Insurance, Young Truck and Trailer, DD Auto and Salvage, My Mattress, Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, Elements Restaurant, White Pine Funeral Home, Les Olson Company, Prodigy Brewing, Cache Valley Bank, Jarek's Fine Jewelry, Daryl's Appliance, HSA Depot, Advanced Fireplace and Stove, Alpine Home Medical, S.E. Needham Jewelers, Thermo Fisher, Primrose Home Care, and Golden Spike Electric. It's the KVNU Aggie Game Day pregame show.
Well, our Aggies are heading into the second homestand of the Mountain West schedule, still on the verge of a magic 20-win season. But, again, suddenly on their first two-game losing streak of this season. The loss to league leader San Diego State was a huge one, of course. Comeback in that game, only to end up just short at the end of that game. Still not able to crack the quad one victory status there. Utah State played hard. But then, to be honest, I felt like a little lackluster effort Saturday night against San Jose State on the road, who, we did struggle with earlier in the year, but you had beaten them 9 straight times and 30 of the last 31 times you'd played the Spartans, but it was 69-64, a loss that left us kind of hard to believe. And you could even tell Sean Bairstow, speaking for the team after the game, was kind of at a loss for words.
I don't even know what to say, honestly. I just don't think we played to what we know we can do. We didn't finish the plays that we usually do and just didn't make the plays at the end of the game that we needed to.
So 19-7, 8-5 in conference going into the last 5 games of this regular schedule. And it starts with Air Force here at the Spectrum tonight. Now, never one of the conference contenders since we've been in the Mountain West. The Falcons are overall 13-13 now and 4-9 in league games. Friday night, they had one of the big surprise victories of this whole season. They jumped all over New Mexico. The final was 89-77. It really wasn't that close. It ended a 6-game Falcon losing streak. The veteran coach Joe Scott, now what is it, 3 years back, I guess, into their program. After this is the second time he's been around at the academy. And certainly he paid attention. Remember Albert Einstein once said something about insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results? Joe had lost 6 games in a row.
I decided to do was, okay, we're not going to keep doing the same things we've been doing and expecting sort of like a different result. And not saying we not going to practice, but we just did some different things to sort of engage our guys mentally to get them to sort of transfer to the game tonight what it is we actually were wanting.
And that was after the win against New Mexico. So Air Force with a February reboot of things. And they've got new combinations, new practice methods, new emphasis on just his team's work habits. We'll get more into that, and it certainly paid off huge. So now can they change their fortunes that the Falcons have had in Logan? We're going to wait and see. So it is rebound time for the Aggies. And on their other side, just keep on shooting like they did, 66% in their victory against New Mexico. So let's set it up tonight with Jalen Moore. We've got interviews. We've got comments tonight. We've got Sean Bairstow again and Taylor Funk and Stephen Ashworth. And we've got Jake Highbreeder from Air Force to hear from and Carter Murphy, who also plays for the Falcons. Those coaches, even our Ryan Odom. It's KVNU Aggie Game Day, brought to you in part by Cache Valley Bank. No two businesses the same. Why should your banking solutions be any different? They can always help with businesses. And by S.E. Needham Jewelers. Downtown Logan, 125 years. Shopping at Needham's has become a tradition for thousands of families. And today, you still got a few moments for Valentine's Day at S.E. Needham Jewelers. So, again, let's bring in Jalen Moore. Al Lewis here tonight. And, Jalen, we didn't really get a comment from you after the loss on Saturday night to San Jose State for our Aggies. That is a defeat that you have to say does put them in a little bit of a tough situation towards some of their postseason hopes. Wouldn't you have to say?
Yeah, that's they look at teams like San Jose and they've gotten so much better. But when the committee looks at it, NCAA committee, whether it's for the NCAA tournament, the NIT, whatever it could be, that's going to be one of those games that's considered a bad loss, which is probably going to be up there with Weber State and SMU because of the records they have as well. And obviously you have too many of those, it makes it harder to get in. And obviously makes it harder for Utah State. Now you pretty much, you have to take business of the games like Air Force, like Wyoming, like UNLV. You have to go win those games, and you still probably you might have to beat Nevada and Boise State both at home now because of the situations of being able to potentially split those two games. Now you almost have to maybe win both of them if you want to potentially get an at-large bid with only 7 losses finishing the regular season. So that was a big loss. And we touched on it before the game. We touched that if we didn't match their energy and we obviously didn't rebound with them, that it could be a long night for us, and we didn't do either of those things.
We're going to get more with Captain Stephen Ashworth tonight coming up, but one thing I did ask him, here's a short answer. Can the resume still be rebuilt and resumed to get back to, again, postseason activity?
We really just have the philosophy of we're worried about us. We're not worried as much about what other people think or what other people say. We're really worried about making sure that we're playing our best and playing together. And whether we get an at-large or we come up with the goal that we have to win the tournament, we're hoping that we're going to be in the NCAA tournament later in the season.
So, again, we'll get to more of that. But, Jalen, on this defeat at the Event Center to the Spartans, Coach Ryan Odom summed it up after the 13-2 San Jose started the game to an Aggie lead at the half and then up by 5 with about 11:30 to go, and then a disappointing finish with no baskets in the last 3:05. I think they finished 2 out of 10. As good as this team, Jalen, has been effectively and offensively good at times, I know we've centered a lot on their defense needs to be better, and obviously the one-on-one defense against Omari Moore was not very good in the game. But we always seem to get these stretches now of sometimes not only is it hard to score, but it's hard to get good shots for this basketball team the last little while. And I guess that's good scouting by the other side, and we've got to be better with our offense.
Yeah, our execution just has to be better. We know going through the conference a second time and playing teams for a second time, they're going to scout you better. Like we said, being at the top of the league, you're going to have a big target on your back. You're going to have a lot of teams that want to beat you. San Jose obviously came out and knew that they had a chance to beat us the first time, and now they get to play us at home. They look at that game like, hey, we probably should have beat them the first time. We can beat this team as long as we do what we did the first game and play a little bit better defense, and that's what they did. And obviously you look at our last 2 results, we had to score more than 60 points. Obviously scoring in the 60s isn't good for us. And we have to rebound. I know, like we said, a lot of times people that listen to our shows, keys to games, we always talk about how important rebounding is, but the last 2 games we've gotten out rebounded, we've scored in the 60s, and we've lost both games. So those are things that we have to do, and like you touched on, we got to execute better, and we got to be tougher. We're giving up way too many boards, which is too many extra possessions for some of these teams. We're
one of the worst teams in the country now at offensive rebounds per game. It's amazing how I looked at the national stats and saw that. And then in the game against San Jose, here's the old deal again, Jalen. Omari Moore takes over. No points until the last 23 minutes of the game. Last 3 of the first half, 27 total. Another individual that we couldn't stop, even with team defense. And again, you look at Air Force tonight. Now, Air Force does have a shooter, but he's not kind of a penetrating athlete of Omari Moore and Matt Bradley and Jamal Mashburn and Marcus Shaver and Keenan Blackshear, these kind of guys. But this 6'5 sophomore from Indiana, Jake Heidbreeder, he can stroke the basketball if you give him the chance.
Yeah, and we have to do a job. The one game that stands out to you where we actually defended the other team's best player was against UNLV. I think Harkless only ended up with 2 points. A lot of the other games where we single out players like, hey, we got to do a job on him individually and as a team. A lot of the times we really haven't done that great of a job. Obviously the first half we did a good job on Omari Moore. But when he turned up, he started taking over. He started taking it upon himself to win the game for San Jose. We didn't stop him individually or as a team defensively. And like you said, Heidbreeder, he had 18 points against the first game, which is higher than his season average of 14.5. So, we got it. We can't let him go about 20 plus, like we said, if you let guys do that, it's going to be a long game. And we have a lot of players in our conference that are capable for going for 20 plus. And a lot of them have been successful in doing that against us. So we got to tighten up some things individually, defensively, and as a team as well.
And here is Heidbreeder. He made 11 straight Friday night in his 26-point game against New Mexico. He said after the game, after that performance, where the whole Falcon team hit 66%, which was a 17-year best for the Air Force Academy.
No, I was just keeping things the same for me. I'm just making sure I shoot after practice, get enough shots up. Just keep focusing on what I need to do to make sure I make it. The coaches have helped me with that, watching film and just making sure I just stay on my shot and don't fade too much or like run away or anything like that. So as long as I just do that and just focus and run our offense, I think it'll work.
That kid from Indiana can really shoot the ball. And then the senior, Carter Murphy, he had 18. He hadn't been a big contributor at all this year, but he had that against New Mexico the other night. And Jalen, they hit 9 of 17 three-pointers against the Lobos. You can't let that happen tonight because 45% of their shots are three-pointers, and you can't have them getting a good percentage. And, of course, we've struggled with three-point defense this year. And then the other key, I think, Jalen, in a lot of ways for Air Force, you got to stop the backdoor layups. And I think we gave up 1 in the first half of the first game when we had a nice halftime lead. The second half, we were up by 16 in the January 3rd game. We gave up 5 backdoors second half, and the game got closer. So, again, not only is the three-point line important against them, but the paint is important against Air Force.
Yeah, it really is. And they'll do it, like you said, they'll do a couple different things. They'll post up. They'll run some backdoors. And they've gotten good players that are smart. You know, they know how to read defenses. They know when to post up. They know when to shoot the three. They've got better athletes, and they're young. And you can see that they're gelling together as a team right now. You know, they're playing at a pretty high level. And we're catching them coming off of their biggest game of the win of the season, and probably they're catching us coming off our worst loss of the season at a bad timing. So Air Force, in their mind, is catching us at the right time. Their offense is clicking. They looked good last game. And like you said, our defense against them the first game in the first half was awesome. Second half, you know, you get lackadaisical, you get lazy. They'll execute on you. They'll carve you up with their offense. And the thing you got to know about Air Force, obviously, you got to put them away because they're never going to give up on themselves. So if you don't put them away early, they can hang around for a bit. They're going to make a game out of it.
Yeah, we were up 22. We ended up winning 77-65 in that first game. And against New Mexico, they were 50 to 28 points in the paint against Udesi and some of those guys. We won the point battles in the paint 36-28 the first time around and did make 21 free throws. So Jalen and I, we've talked a lot about them offensively, but we got to talk about their defense too. And we'll get his keys to the game. We have Stephen Ashworth coming up again tonight. We have both coaches, including our coach, Ryan Odom. 2 losses in a row, Coach.
Keep in mind, we've been going for a long time. Like a lot of these other teams have had a week off. You know, we've been going since Christmas, you know, every week. You know, for us to have, you know, had our first 2-game losing streak all year is pretty strong in late February at this point.
And again, the reason they've been going is they got the bye to start the year going to Hawaii, and then their second bye doesn't come until after they play Wyoming next week. So we have more coming up here on KVNU Game Day, sponsored by Prodigy Brewing. Make sure you always bring the family down for the pizza, burgers, great brews, and other great things to eat. Prodigy Brewing for lunch and for dinner on Center Street. Primrose Home Care and Hospice. Always happy to come to your home, educate patients about the services they offer. And Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, again, a brand new heating and air conditioning system can be available for your home, your business, and also they can do service as well on your unit. 752-7272 as we continue with Game Day on KVNU tonight.
We're heading into some crazy weather this winter, which means power outages. Tyler and his team at Golden Spike Electric can install a Generac automatic standby generator for your home so you can avoid issues when the power goes out. If you have one already, Golden Spike Electric can maintain your Generac automatic standby generator for you. Find them online at gsegenerators.com or call 435-257-3016. Golden Spike Electric and Generac automatic standby generators. Power you can count on.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat is locally owned and operated inside the beautiful new Three Peaks Medical Plaza in North Logan. Expect the most cutting-edge techniques, qualified doctors, and friendly staff to ensure the highest quality patient care. The ENT providers have extensive training to properly treat ear, nose, and throat conditions for adults and children. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat serves all of northern Utah and southern Idaho, accepting most insurance products including SelectMed. Go to CacheValleyENT.com for appointments and details. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, located in North Logan and Providence.
As a small business, achieving your financial goals and ambitions can be a steep and rocky mountain to climb. This is Brett Green, president of Cache Valley Bank. To conquer this mountain and achieve your goals, it takes planning, hard work, and discipline. At Cache Valley Bank, we have the resources, expertise, and flexibility to help you scale your way to success. Give us a call. Let's work together and climb the mountains that await. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Les Olson IT is your source for top quality technology. We carry the latest desktop and laptop PCs in stock, configured to your specific needs, and backed by our award-winning support team. And if your business demands high-performance hardware, we offer custom-built computers that can tackle any task. We also offer great computer accessories like monitors, keyboards, speakers, Fujitsu document scanners, and more. Get a quote today.
Les Olson IT.
Aggie Game Day continues. Sponsored by Cache Valley Bank on News Talk KVNU.
We still have a lot of opportunity and a lot of, I guess the word would be opportunity to prove ourselves to not only others, but to prove ourselves to ourselves in a way, and I think kind of answer the bell.
Like we said, we got Stephen Ashworth coming up a little more in-depth for sure as we get going tonight. And again, Al Lewis with Jalen Moore. I have to say I am so privileged to have a chance to work with Jalen. He does a great job. I keep getting great positive feedback from people. I know Jalen the other night, a lot of people who went to the Spectrum in the San Diego State game, they never heard an announcement. They said whatever was said on the PA, they couldn't understand what was said about the technical. We had the coach talk about that the other night. They appreciate us doing these things before and after the show. And then I got Gary Wilkinson helped me the last couple games. But, hey, right here on my desk today, somebody put down, you're a cover boy on Cache Valley Family Magazine. You and your dad and your mom. How about that?
Yeah, it was awesome. You know, they reached out to us and wanted to do a story on us, like in our family business of still doing, you know, basketball teams and basketball training. And obviously that's a really cool thing for me and my family to be able to do. And they came to the gym, took a picture with us in the gym, just kind of did an interview about all the stuff that we've been doing. And obviously me growing up here, playing basketball here, all that kind of stuff. I thought that was really cool and really fun and cool for my family to be a part of that and be on the cover of that magazine. So that was awesome. I'm glad they reached out to us. And like I said, we're very thankful for that. And obviously, as much as we can do for the players that we help and try to put them in a spotlight, get them exposure, kind of talk about what we do with them, that's what me and my dad are all about, is trying to help the kids that we're helping along with the training and our teams as well.
I think that's great. But, you know, I haven't seen you face-to-face for a while. I almost didn't recognize you. The afro's gone.
Yeah, I did have my hair in braids. I kind of go back and forth, actually, between braids and my fro, too. So it kind of just bounces back and forth between the two hairstyles.
Almost didn't recognize you. Okay, here we are. First losing streak of the season for the Aggies. The 5 previous losses, they always won their next game. And we asked the coach about it, and you heard a little bit here. But listen up, Jalen, to this, and then we'll talk about it.
We have to be proud of where we're at right now. And, you know, pressure is a privilege. I mean, that's what we always talk about in our program. And there's not only pressure on us, there's pressure on all teams at this time of year. And, you know, it becomes a long season and deeper into February, and you're approaching March. You know, it's not easy. And you have to be the mentally tough team and group and still come in every day ready with the mindset of, okay, we're going to get better today. And it may not be physical and up and down and all of that. It can be a mental challenge, you know, for all of us, you know, because it does get so long. Keep in mind, we've been going for a long time. Like a lot of these other teams have had a week off. You know, we've been going since Christmas, you know, every week. You know, for us to have, you know, had our first 2-game losing streak all year is pretty strong in late February at this point. I hate we lost it. We all hate we lost that last game, and there's reasons we did. We just didn't make enough plays in order to win. But San Jose did. We were still right there, you know, to win against a team that only lost 1 game on the road or at home, you know, so far this season in our conference. So, you know, certainly not happy about it, but, you know, you have to let that go. We can't get it back. We have to move on and get ready for this one.
You know, Jalen, it seems like you and I have gotten together to talk about a lot of games in a short amount of time, because they really have played 2 games every single week once they finally started playing. Their bye was the night everybody started that middle week of December before New Year's, and we don't get a bye till after Wyoming. And you know, you played college basketball. It gets tough at this particular point of the year, to let alone to play, let alone practice and all those things too.
Yeah, it does. It's it's a grueling season. It's long. Obviously, people got to deal with little injuries, the travel, all that types of stuff you have to do for school. It just kind of takes a toll on you. And like we say, as long as you can keep that mental focus and stay physically active and physically ready, those are the teams that usually go out and perform well, and that's and honestly, we've looked good, like you said, you have to give our team credit. I mean, we were chose to be
eighth.
At the bottom of the conference.
8th or 9th,
Yeah, 8th or 9th. We're doing a really good job. Of course, we let one slip away from us at San Jose. But like Coach Odom said, they've only lost one game at home in conference. They're way better than they've been. They're one of the better rebounding teams, and we just slipped up in a couple areas. And like we said, a good thing about that, playing as much as we are, when you do lose, you always want to get one back really quick. So that's a good thing about it. But after that Wyoming game, that week that we have in between, to be able to recover. Not think about a game for about a few days and just be able to help your body get caught up on all the things you need to do. Those are very crucial and will help us a lot. And it will come at a pretty good time for us as well. Yeah. Exactly.
Because we're 3 weeks to Vegas. And really, Jalen, let's admit it, the 10 years we've been in this league, I think this is the most competitive top to bottom the league's ever been this year.
Yeah, for sure. You have – and the thing is, some of the teams like Colorado State and Wyoming them would be way more competitive if their best players weren't hurt at the beginning of the season or weren't currently still hurt. So you got to take that in consideration too. But yeah, the 10 years that we've been in the conference, we potentially, like we said, could get 4 or 5 teams in. Probably we'll get 4, which is, I think, tied for the highest that the Mountain West has ever had. So you got to obviously put that in there. And each team's got a player that can really play, and it's shown that players out of the Mountain West Conference are successful pros, whether it's in the NBA, overseas, whatever they do. A lot of these players that stand out on their teams, they go on and be successful. So our conference is steadily getting better, and I think the recruiting, I think the pool, the transfer pool that people can go into, I think that's strengthening this conference because a lot of other players are getting put on notice of how good of a basketball conference the Mountain West is. 5 or 6 as far as power rankings. You got, San Diego State's right up there in the net rankings. I think number 19. Boise State is number 26 right now. Then you got Nevada at 31. The Aggies are at 37. Even New Mexico still at 48. Poll numbers and things like that as well for this conference. Okay, let's get into this specifically for the Aggies, though. We were talking about this offensive deal. Stephen Ashworth, we have him later. I'm going to talk to him, Jalen. He's 9 for 9 free throws against San Jose State. He's now made 32 straight free throws over the last 9 games. He's our best shooter. He gets 6 shots against the Spartans. I mean, he's less than 9 shots a game. We got to get more shots for Stephen Ashworth, or he's got to find more shots, doesn't he? Yeah, for sure. And I think, like we said, knowing that he was going to get thrown into the starting lineup with Ryland being hurt, teams they're just going to cue on him. They're going to really make it hard for him. And that's kind of what you've been seeing. San Diego State was on him. San Jose was on him. They make these guys – they make him have to work. They try to wear him out. They know he has to handle the ball and is our best shooter. So they know they got to wear him out when he's handling the ball. They can't let him get any open looks. And obviously they're going to try to do the best they can to keep him from the free throw line. He's made 32 in a row. So it comes down to our team. We got to get him open. We got to run some plays for him. But we also have to, execute. And like I say, a lot of times, Shulga, Bairstow, Funk, Hamoda, Idle Rock, these guys, when they're in the game and they have a chance to potentially relieve some of that pressure from Steve, they got to do a good job of bringing the ball up the court because, he plays a lot of minutes. He can get exhausted, and that will take a toll on his shot and his legs towards the end of the game. Well,
remember he said he felt like the shot against San Diego State when he had the open look was because of legs. Funk actually has shot more shots than Steven. Bairstow's not far away. Now, Funk was 2 of 8 overall, 0 for 6 against San Jose, kind of struggling as he went into Colorado Springs, you may recall, on January 3rd. And that night, he found his shot that particular night in the win against Air Force.
You just got to keep on shooting, find it again. Team, coaches, staff, everyone got confidence in every single one of us. Never doubted it once, missed some shots, but confidence didn't drop, that's for sure.
And Taylor went on to say that night after the 77-65 win that against Air Force defense is not as easy as you might think with the size they have.
They play like this matchup zone. I think it gives you opportunities, to attack it. I think their goal is to make just teams kind of pass the ball around the perimeter, look for jump shots. Obviously, we're a really good shooting team, but I think we're the best when we get inside the paint, you know, make 2-foot plays in that lane, either create for yourself, create for others. And we started doing that early, which then led to easier shots around the rim, and then we found some shots on the outside.
So, again, we've talked a lot about this Princeton offense when we played Air Force down through the years, Jalen. And again, they try to get the three-pointers or the backdoor layups. They're trying to break you down. But, hey, their defense, it's kind of a mixture, supposedly, I keep hearing, of zone, man-to-man. But the one thing that jumps out is they only allow 31% of attempts by the opponent, three-point shots. Now, we hear teams try to run people off the three-point line, but college basketball's average is about 40% for teams. Only 31% of the shots even against them are three-pointers. That's an amazing stat.
Yeah, it really is. And so, you know, they know that a lot of teams want to shoot threes or score around the rim, and they try to prevent that three, and they do a good job of it. It's still weird because the matchup zone, man defense they play, you still do have a lot of open looks from threes. They sometimes make you second-guess them. They sometimes make you maybe potentially get the shots out of a drive-in kick or a different look that you're not usually comfortable with. But this will be an important game because I think our team is going to have some open looks this game. I think Steven will. I think Taylor Funk will. I think Sean will. I think Shulga will. All those guys that play on the perimeter, they're going to have good open looks from three. And like you said, they only give about 31% of their shots from three, but we're going to have looks that we have to step up with confidence, and we have to take them when we get them.
What's interesting, too, is Joe Scott, their coach, says they start 6'7", but everybody on the team that starts is about 6'4" to 6'7". Air Force has done well in defending post players, he says, and then running people off the three-point line, but his team has had to defend the paint. Here's what he said.
You know, Bo and Corbin, I think we've done that all year. Then I think something we haven't done well is teams attack the paint from the perimeter with the dribble. You know, we have to get better at that because the paint isn't just big guys. In today's basketball, the paint is beating you off the dribble. So, one, I'm glad we've made improvement in that interior because then if you can count on that, then, well, how do you just zero in and focus on sort of the off the dribble stuff?
So, again, like we said, they were 50 to 26 in the paint besides shooting well from three against New Mexico. Now, New Mexico's not a defensive team at all, and the Aggies, again, did a pretty good job. But they were down. The Aggies are down 35-28 in the paint to San Jose on Saturday after they won the 36-28 the paint over at Air Force. So, Jalen, to make it 14-0 in Logan against the Falcons and to get to 20-7 on the year, 31st year out of 118 that we've had as an Aggie program with 20 wins. 21 of the last 29 years we've had 20 wins. So we've got a great program. We've got to win this game. How do we do it tonight? What are your keys to this game?
Yeah, we've touched on it throughout the whole pregame. You know, we have to guard their action. Obviously, they're a little bit more loose with it than they used to be, but they still have that Princeton offense where they have the back cuts, they have the post-ups, they get, you know, the spin move to threes and stuff like that. You know, they have all those little things that you still have to guard. And in the first half of that first game, we did a good job. Second half, we didn't. And like we said, we know they're going to play hard. We know they're not going to give up. So we have to do a good job defensively than we have the past two games, and we got to guard their action. Number two, I just barely touched on it too. You know, they don't give up a lot of threes, but our team will still have good looks. Ashworth's got to step up and take them. Funk's got to step up and take them. So my second key is we got to shoot a high percentage from three because we may not get a lot of looks, but the looks that we will get will be good looks from good shooters, and we got to step up with confidence. We got to knock them in. And number three, like we said, the last couple of games we haven't done a good job of this, and most of the season we have to do a job on their scores. We got to take it upon ourselves individually, got to take it upon ourselves as a team to stop their best scorers. We can't let their guys that they go to continue to hurt us each game. And when we have done that, for most part, we won games. You know, so if we do those three things, I think we come away with the win tonight. And like you said, you got to give our team credit. Potential another 20-win season. Really hard to come by if you go look at a lot of the team's records throughout college basketball. I think we're having a great season. We had one slip up, and that's just college basketball, and that's what makes it fun. And I think our team's doing a great job. So we do those three things tonight, I think we beat Air Force.
So we got to watch Ritas Petritis, who kind of comes off the bench, but now lately he's been starting for them, a freshman. He's their second leading scorer behind Hyde Breeder. And then Bo Becker is kind of their inside guys who started to score better. And there's still Ethan Taylor. who can be a good scorer for them as well. All right, Keys brought to you by DD Auto and Salvage. They're going to pay you the most for your junk vehicles. Our game day sponsor is DD Auto and Salvage. Get rid of your junk vehicles. Get them a call. So, again, Jalen, if people are going up to the Spectrum tonight, Mountain West Network streaming it at 7 o'clock, we thank you, and we'll see if we can check it after the game and see what you thought of the game, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All righty, Jalen Moore. Next, our good session with Stephen Ashworth, our leader as promised. Lots coming up, including trying to sweep the academy for the season.
And I think that, as you mentioned, in that first half, we were the aggressive team. We were the confident team. And then in the second half, we gave them some confidence with some easy buckets. And then they're hard to score against when they get their defense set. But if we can get some stops and get in transition, I think that's where we saw a lot of success in game one. And so.
And we got coaches' comments coming up as well. KVNU Game Day continues. Again, Thermo Fisher Scientific, making the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. Les Olson Company. Remember, half of all organizations have been victims of ransomware attacks. Don't take the risk. Get with them at Les Olson Security Suite and your free assessment, lesolson.com. And Daryl's Appliance in Benson. Again, no need, to go to the big box store for your appliances, and they have great service to back it up, too. 752-90. 22, the number for Daryl's Appliance, and we'll continue with more Game Day just a moment.
It's never too late or too cold to get rid of that old vehicle. Now is the time to earn extra cash by calling DD Auto and Salvage. Let them pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junker vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204 today.
See store for details.
What's more important than sleep? Granted, some things are, but not many. This is Ryan at My Mattress, and here we offer the best solution to better sleep, a better mattress. IntelliBed, the gel mattress, cradles your hips and shoulders while providing the best back support possible. Or come in and choose a Tempur-Pedic that boasts 93% of their owners love their bed. My Mattress, offering the best sleep possible by the South Walmart.
It's cold outside, but you can keep warm inside with a quality-built, super-efficient York furnace. Count on a furnace from York because it's backed by the strongest warranties available. It's just another way we install confidence. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York dealer, at 752-7272. Online at advancedheating-ac.com. York, install confidence.
We're not comfortable until you are. Advanced Heating and Air.
I think I can. Do you feel like you're chugging up the inflation mountain? This is Zach with HSA Depot, and we can help. Did you know that you can save as much as 30% by using your pre-tax income to buy qualifying medical supplies? Health savings accounts can be used for more than just doctor visits and prescriptions. HSA Depot helps you conquer your inflation mountain and your health care by providing eligible products. Come to HSA Depot next to Sally Beauty and see how much you can save. HSA Depot, 5-star review.
Alpine Home Medical has been around for over 25 years. Can you believe that? Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent. What keeps us coming to work every day? We're passionate about caring for you. From home and bathroom safety to transportation, mobility, recovery, oxygen, sleep, and more, come into any of our 10 locations today and let us take care of you.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Visit us at alpinehomemedical.com.
Are you ready for Aggie basketball? KVNU Game Day returns.
We were focused coming into this one. We had a good week of hard workouts. I think that translated to hard cutting, physical on defense, boxing out, physically, and rebounding well and hitting shots. So just sticking to the work all week, and then just playing physical. I think we had to get back to physicality because we were playing kind of soft of late. So
that is their senior center. And Carter Murphy comes off the bench. He had a career-high 18 in the New Mexico win. It saw their 6-game losing streak end on Friday. Now he and the Air Force Falcons here tonight trying to beat the Aggies in Logan for the very first time. S.C. Needham Jewelers starting lineups. Again, mostly he's been coming off the bench because they've had the same starting lineup the last 7 games. I think they'll do the same tonight as Petritis, Taylor, Jeffrey Mills, a guy who assists and rebounds, doesn't really score a lot. Jake Hybreeder, their shooter. He can also drive it. He's a great free throw shooter, although he went 1 for 3 the other night in his 27-point game or 26-point game against New Mexico. And then Bo Becker has really come on to be kind of more of their post guy. Remember, Vanderswag was there earlier. They still have him that they can use off of their bench, but they're basically about an 8-man team for the most part. Aggies will start the same lineup for the 11th straight game in Ashworth, Shulga, Bairstow, Funk, and Dorius, again, still missing Rylan Jones. This lineup that has been going, again, I think they are now 9-6 on the season, is where they have been up until now. That's our S.E. Needham Jewelers look at the starting lineups. Always, many successful marriages start with diamond engagement ring sets at S.E. Needham Jewelers. And again, Valentine's Day, engagement, a lot of people are probably thinking of that. We are 7 weeks into an extraordinary 2003 Mountain West schedule we've seen this year. And we've talked to Stephen Ashworth. We talked to him going into the Fresno State opener after the Hawaii trip. They were 11-2 at that time, and now 8-5, the record since then. Our interview with Stephen brought to you tonight by My Mattress, #1 for sleep, with the best sleep names around. Well, let's get with Stephen Ashworth on our Aggie Game Day, as we're down to, 5 regular season games, I guess it is, and the tournament coming up. And Stephen, what's if I was going to ask you again at this particular point? I mean, I know 19 wins. You guys have had some successes lately. Maybe these last week wasn't that great. But what's your feelings about this season as you're going into this last part of it all?
That's a great question. I think, as you mentioned, we've had a lot of early successes. We've had a rough patch this last week with some losses that we wish were flipped. But overall, I'm really excited about the way the team has come together and the way that we've been playing this season. Really grateful to the coaching staff for the hours and hours of preparation they put in each week to help us perform at the highest level, and also a huge thanks to the community for their support of Aggie basketball. It's definitely made a difference of having that true home court advantage that we've bragged about and hung our hat on for so many years. And so I think that all of those things are leading into a feeling of gratitude, a feeling of excitement for the last 5 games. I think that we still have a lot of opportunity and a lot of, I guess the word would be opportunity to prove ourselves to not only others, but to prove ourselves to ourselves in a way. And I think kind of answer the bell with what happened this last week and get back on track with 2 home wins, and that's what we're shooting for.
Yeah, because you guys have never experienced a 2-game losing streak all year long, and now you are. And you do, though, get 2 home games this week. So, I mean, the trend is good to be where you're at, but again, you haven't been through this kind of situation before.
Yeah, it's definitely unique. I think that's something to be excited about, that this is the first time this season that we've had something like this happen. Obviously not the most ideal time to have it happen, but I think that's only going to build resiliency and build confidence in us moving forward, that we can go through hard things and stay together and come out better for it. And I think that you see that happen with a lot of teams, especially with the tournaments coming up and different opportunities. It's important to be playing our best basketball headed into that. And so I think with over these next 5 games, we have to be really focused on making sure that not only the results are what we want them to be, but also that the processes and methods and things like that are in line so that we're playing our best basketball come, March 7th through 12th, I believe, or whenever the dates are.
Yeah, you can still win the Mountain West tournament, and I think you've seen, and we've seen, this team is capable. Do you feel, though, Stephen, you have to build is it fair to say resume over these last 5 games before that to feel like you can even be in a spot to where you want to be, which is, of course, get into the NCAA?
I mean, obviously our goal is to be Mountain West champions. We have that goal the whole season to be regular season champions, and, that is still in the cards. We play 2 of the other top teams at home coming up, and so that would be an opportunity for us to kind of climb the ladder once again and get back to where we're right in that contention. And we would obviously need some help from other people at this point for that goal to be accomplished. But ultimately, I think that we have confidence in ourselves that we can play, we can compete, and we can beat anybody in the Mountain West. And that's a really bold statement to say because of how good the Mountain West has been this season. but that's just the faith that we have and the confidence we have in the work that we've put in. It doesn't just come. We don't expect anybody to just give it to us, but I think headed into these next 5 games, we really just have the philosophy of we're worried about us. We're not worried as much about what other people think or what other people say. We're really worried about making sure that we're playing our best and playing together. And whether we get in that large or we come up with the goal that we have to win the tournament, we're hoping that we're going to be in the NCAA tournament later in the season.
Okay, let's talk about the 2 games this week then. Your remembrances of the Air Force game. I thought the first half against Air Force might have been one of the best halves you have played. Second half got not quite as good against Air Force, but you did beat them on the road. And all of a sudden, they're a team that comes in, and they just stopped their 6-game losing streak and shot 66% in beating New Mexico.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a team that is really well executed, and their offense comes at a pace to where they might take a lot of time off the shot clock, but they play with great pace. The Princeton offense has a lot of different options, and they're going to be willing to take a shot as soon as you give them an open one. And I think that you saw that a little bit against New Mexico. You saw them getting some quicker shots just because of defensive breakdowns. And so this week has been a lot of talk over these last few days about how to make sure that we stay disciplined, stay aggressive. And I think that, as you mentioned, in that first half, we were the aggressive team. We were the confident team. And then in the second half, we gave them some confidence with some easy buckets. And then they're hard to score against when they get their defense set. But if we can get some stops and get in transition, I think that's where we saw a lot of success in Game 1. And so hoping to replicate that in Game 2.
And again, the Aggies in that first game ended up beating Air Force by a final score of 77-65 in that game. And Stephen had 15, Funk had 18, Bairstow had 11, Scholga had 11. But there were some plays that Ryland Jones, even though he didn't score, made that really helped the team. As I remember talking to Coach about that after the game over there. Because in the second half, things started to struggle a little bit, but we did make free throws down the stretch, and that was a big deal as well. Are playing them here at home tonight. And speaking of shots, we just talked about this with Jalen. Stephen, you got to get more shots.
When they're keying in on one guy, we got 4 other guys that can go out and make plays on the court. And so, because I do think that there's some times that we had plays called up to make sure that I could get an opportunity, and whether they just had really great defense or we didn't execute the play, that didn't come and didn't happen.
So we will get into that with Stephen Ashworth in our next segment of Game Day. We are brought to you in part by White Pine Funeral Services. You can expect compassionate care, high integrity, and excellence in your funeral services from White Pine Funeral Services. And the HSA Depot. You can save as much as 30% by using your pre-tax income to buy qualified medical supplies from HSA Depot, the next door to Sally's Beauty out there on North Main, as Game Day continues here on KVNU. Tonight, no television of this game from the Spectrum, so we hope you're going. There's tickets remaining. If you're not going, it's the Mountain West Network for streaming, and we'll be here immediately after the game to talk about it on postgame as well. When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient as well as the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
The new Prodigy Brewing on Center Street in Logan offers an atmosphere that's vibrant, energetic, and friendly. Serving handmade juicy burgers, wood-fired pizzas, wings, nachos, and locally crafted beer while bringing a unique space to downtown Logan. Now offering lighter lunch options like personal-sized pizzas and sliders, or choose from your favorites like wings, beer cheese, fried pickles, and more. Stop by for a quick and delicious lunch that will get you back to work on time. Experience Prodigy Brewing, exceptional food, extraordinary service, and family-friendly on Center Street in downtown Logan.
It's engagement season. Time to find the perfect ring. S.E. Needham Jewelers is known for beautifully cut diamonds at excellent prices. Guys, the sparkle is what matters most in the diamond you give your sweetheart. Our diamonds stand apart from those of other stores. Come view our diamonds under magnification. Select a diamond that fits your budget and then have it mounted in a ring that she'll love. Remember, you get S.E. Needham quality at internet pricing. Open Monday through Saturday 10 to 7, where Utah gets engaged. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block at the sign of the clock.
The Young Automotive Group is proud to announce Young Truck and Trailer Center in Cache Valley. Whether it's heavy equipment trailers, horse trailers, race car trailers, or cargo and utility trailers, we're excited to offer some of the finest trailers and flatbed work trucks to Cache Valley. Our team of experts look forward to helping you find the right truck or trailer to fit your needs, with competitive prices offered on every make and model for sale on our lot. With our extensive inventory, you'll find the best deals right here in Cache Valley. Young Truck and Trailer Center, just off Highway 89 in Logan. Think young, drive young.
It's KVNU Aggie Game Day, brought to you by DD Auto and Salvage on News Talk KVNU.
Respond like we know we will. Air Force is a good team, and they come back to inspection. We're going to be ready for them.
And again, Sean Bairstow, when asked how do we stop the first losing streak of the season, we mentioned Sean had 11 against Air Force first time around. And we mentioned Stevens 15, but he also had 7 rebounds and 8 assists as well. I mean, there are so, at least seems like lately Stephen Ashworth has been leading lots of guys on this team in rebounding. And again, but my topic again is shooting for him as we get to part 2 of our Aggie interview tonight. I know you don't take bad shots. I know you don't take bad shots, Stephen, but I mean, we got to have more shots.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I try to make sure that all of my shot attempts are coming in the flow of the game, and so some nights you'll see that like San Jose, I have 6, and some nights I have 19 or whatever it was against Colorado State and 17 behind the arc just because of the flow of the game that we had. And so I think some of it comes into making sure that I'm attacking in the right ways, being aggressive off of pick and roll or off of off-ball screens, and just making sure that we execute those things. Because I do think that there's some times that we had plays called up to make sure that I could get an opportunity, and whether they just had really great defense or we didn't execute the play, that didn't come and didn't happen. But at the same time, the great thing about this team is that when they're keying in on one guy, we got 4 other guys that can go out and make plays on the court. And so when that kind of happens, got to make sure that we put trust in everybody else to go and make the plays. And unfortunately, against San Jose State, we fell up a little short, but looking to bounce back and answer back against Air Force.
Well, Stephen, I know there's never been anybody who gives more to the game than you that we've had. We appreciate that. We appreciate the way you play, the leadership you've shown to this team. Not having Rylan Jones the last little while, I know, has put more extra burden and pressure on you to play and to do things, and more playing time and more defense and more offense and all that. But again, just appreciate what you do. This team has been fun to watch. The crowd has liked it. They love you. You're kind of the lead cheerleader out there sometimes, so let's keep that going for these 2 big home games this week, okay?
Absolutely, will do. Really appreciate you, Alan. I love being a point guard and a cheerleader out there on the court, making sure that the fans are having fun and bringing the energy, because you could definitely tell in that second half against San Diego State when they got into it, we're a whole different ball club. So we appreciate the community. We appreciate you guys, and looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday and Saturday this week.
So there's our interview with Stephen Ashworth, and we'll have a little bit more as he thinks a little bit about J.C. Carroll, knows about Aggie history, and J.C. Carroll, of course, with the big game coming up with Nevada on Saturday night for his jersey to be retired, so we'll get into that. Stephen is still the number 3 field goal percentage shooter in the country at 47%, number 11 in making it. He leads the Mountain West in those departments. In fact, he's the only player now with 85 threes in the country that also is shooting more than 45% from the field, 46.9. He's actually 47% from 3, and he's more than 80% of the foul line. In fact, 88.9. He's 93.8 in Mountain West games. Dan Atkin is number 2 in the conference in rebounding right now. We are 4th, and Stevens 4th in the conference in assists, 4.6 a game. Team is still number 1 in three-point percentage in the country, number 27 in shooting overall, and number 10 in assists. We are number 303, though, in our defense against the three-pointer, and Air Force is number 14 in the nation in their three-point percentage defense. So, again, they are really good at stopping teams from 3, and the Aggies, of course, are a great three-point shooting team, so something's got to give there. They're not very good with the rebound battles, but we're 285 in the country in offensive rebound numbers. But both teams very low in steals, although it seems like Air Force steals the ball a lot, or tries to, inside against you. If we're looking for more Cache Valley Bank interesting stats and notes on this game, Air Force did have a season-high 50 points in the paint against New Mexico. It was their first double-digit win over New Mexico since 2004 when they beat them the other night. 13 wins, the second most under Joe Scott as coach. The other time they won more than that, he took them to the conference title before he left to take the Princeton job. They shot 66%. It was the best they'd shot since 68% against Utah in 2006. It was the first time in Mountain West play they'd had the halftime lead. And that went back to December 6th, even in a game, to have the halftime lead. And it was their season best three-point percentage as well in the game against New Mexico. They come in with those deals. They're 13-13. They have 17 of their 20 players, freshmen or sophomores, so a very young team as well. A couple of interesting stats and notes from Cache Valley Bank. Coaches have got a lot of thoughts on this game. In fact, again, Joe Scott is a guy who, again, after they lost 6 games in a row, he tried to change things over there and said that one thing he emphasized is, guys, let's go out and work a little harder.
That's what it's about. It's about work, and when you work, you make yourself play well. And you know what? Tonight we had 6, 7, 8 guys play well. When you have 6, 7, 8 guys play well, you usually end up with more points than the other team.
That's what Joe Scott said after the New Mexico win. The Aggies had 5 guys in double figures against San Jose, but it just didn't feel like anybody had an outstanding game. So that's what he's talking about. You got to have a great game when you get those kind of productions. In the meantime, here is Coach Odom and his team, after 2 losses, of course, needing to turn things around.
We've got to, we got to get on to the next one. We can't worry about this one game, and let it haunt us, going forward. It's two close games we've lost now in a row, and it hurts. But we can't let it deter, the rest of our season. We've got to be ready to go, on Tuesday.
And Tuesday is here. It's game day, Aggies and Air Force at the Spectrum. And again, streaming on the Mountain West Network if you're not going up. And we'll do pregame right up here till 7. We'll be on immediately after the game to take your calls and texts. Game day continues on KVNU. Brought to you in part by Alpine Home Medical. Call 774-4500 tomorrow for all of your one-stop place for home medical equipment needs and your service provider for those resources. Your best insurance deals are at LSS Insurance. All of your insurance can be taken care of by them with their great customer service, and they do a great job with Medicare coverage when you're turning 65. 752-9493, their number. Get a hold of, and my wife and I did an early Valentine's last night at the Elements restaurant, downtown Logan. Great choices down there, pasta, steak, chicken, seafood. We enjoyed our meal there. You can enjoy that as well. Again, they're one of our game day sponsors, as we'll continue. Game day continues right after this with a coach's segment.
Hi, this is Ashley with LSS Insurance. Are you getting ready to retire but your spouse isn't 65 yet? We can help. We focus on health insurance so we can provide you the best possible service and information. Come the third Thursday, February 16th at 7 p.m. to our free seminar. We'll empower you with the information you need to make a confident decision. Come see us at LSS Insurance the third Thursday, February 16th at 7 p.m. Call 752-9493 to RSVP. Of course, walk-ins are always welcome.
Hi, this is James Stevens with White Pine Funeral Services. At White Pine, we value compassion, integrity, and service. We are committed to serving you and treating your family as our family. We will be here when you need us most, to listen, to help, and to provide exactly what your circumstances require. At White Pine, we promise to dedicate our time and attention to you and your family. We invite you to come by and meet us. We're confident you'll feel a difference.
What do Valentine's Day and Jarek's have in common? They're both all about the romance. Jarek's Fine Jewelry has a great selection for your sweetheart. Don't sweat it out worrying about where to get the perfect gift. We've recently added a 3D laser engraver. Now through Valentine's, Jarek's will personalize any jewelry purchase for no additional charge. We can engrave a wedding date, a name, or any message on most jewelry, like a pendant, watch, bracelet, the inside or outside of a ring. This Valentine's, let us help personalize your gift and make it special. Make it Jarek's.
Nothing compares to the warmth and feel that a wood stove provides. The 2-time Best of Northern Utah winning team says there's never been a better time to replace your old inefficient wood stove and install a new energy-efficient EPA-certified Vermont casting wood product in your home. The U.S. government is offering federal tax credits of 26% on your wood stove install for Vermont casting units that includes stoves, venting, and labor. Call or email Advanced Fireplace and Stove for a free in-home estimate. Call 435-752-7272 or go to advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
It's KVNU Game Day with more analysis and more previews of today's game with Al Lewis.
Air Force coming to town. Air Force is coming off a huge win, obviously at home against a really good New Mexico team. They were playing, lights out, certainly in that game. They're really tough to guard, as we know. They challenge you at every possession.
Yeah, that was Coach Ryan Odom as we got started with him yesterday on this Falcon team. They won 9 non-conference wins this year. That's the most they've had in 16 years, so it is one of the better teams they've had. They were 0-4 against a certain group of non-conference teams last year that they went 4-0 against this year, so that's a big turnaround for them. And now they had the 6-game losing streak into Friday night. Only 2 of those defeats were by single digits, so they weren't exactly getting close, but they jumped on New Mexico. They got up by 22, and they needed it, according to their sophomore shooter, Jake Heidbreeder. This is what he said.
It's honestly just a good confidence boost to make sure we get one in February, and hopefully we can just keep it translating it over to the next games and keep getting some more wins.
So that was after the win, and now he's centered for tonight. He averages 14.4. He's a shooter and a scorer. He went 11 for 11 to start the game in his 26-point night, which was one off his career high. And like we said, if he makes shots, then the senior, Carter Murphy, said it really opened up the offense for him as he had 18 points in the game.
It's what you said. When you're hitting shots, guys are playing tighter, and then backdoor cuts are easier. Driving lanes are more open, and Jake had a heck of a night. And he definitely carried us all throughout the night. I don't know if
Again, he was saying after the game, I don't know if he's tired. He kind of looks tired as well. Our coaches segment sponsor tonight is Golden Spike Electric. They're number 257-3016. Still cold days, a generator in your home or your business. They can help you with that Generac backup generator from Golden Spike Electric. Again, power you can count on. 2 veterans in Joe Scott, 19th year overall at Air Force, at Princeton, at Denver, and then back to Air Force a second time, his 7th year there. We talked to him as he says we flipped the scripts. Again, we flipped the methods. We had this losing streak going on, but he also said that his team just changed the mindset as they now get going.
But they're actually working, and confidence comes from that. And that's the other thing. Okay, there's no reason to ever lose your confidence, but you have to know how not to. And you don't lose your confidence by working. So that was the plan, and I give our guys credit for they gravitated to that.
So he has stuck with the same lineup, the same players rotation-wise, but he's done practice different, getting them prepared different. And again, after Friday night now, maybe a new goal going?
How do you make yourself play this way every single game? And that doesn't mean you're going to shoot 66%. It doesn't mean you're going to get a lot of layups. What it means is you're going to work your tail off every possession for 25 seconds.
All of us Aggies know Utah State has never lost to Air Force at home. It's 7 straight in the Mountain West, 13-0 overall. Like we said, we always beat San Jose State, too. Remember, it was 30 out of 31 going into Saturday, 9 in a row. We are 23-7 all-time with the Falcons. Game 1 on January 3rd was 6 weeks ago, 44-28 first half. We had a 21-point lead at one time in that game, Taylor Funk.
Yeah, I think we had a 20-point lead at halftime. We came out. I just don't think we were in our stance ready to go when they had the ball. Got beat on a couple back doors, couple and ones, and just like that, the game can switch around.
It does switch around. They started to get back into us a little bit. But, again, this Air Force personnel coach, again, they're all about the same kind of player in a lot of ways out there on the floor.
Heidbreeder can really shoot the basketball. Taylor's a really tough matchup. Becker, at the center, has established himself as an inside and outside guy. Petritus is one of the best, freshman conference. It's a really effective player all around. Gets to double digits in the first half, like that.
How do they, coach, only give up 31% of the opponent's attempts at 3?
Yeah, it's the switching, and they stay out on you without overextending out to half court. Do a really good job of figuring out your offense and kind of switching relative to it. They get out and take away the threes. Key is, can you make the right decisions when you go in there in the lane when you drive it in there? Because you will get in there. It's just a matter of how much you can get in there and what type of space you provide for one another. And, they're really good. They've always been excellent at, stealing the ball and knocking the ball loose. And, when you're trying to catch it, they come and they grab it. And they're just really good at it.
So he has a few final thoughts on tonight and the keys to this game.
So we know it's going to be a tough matchup. The discipline is going to be a factor on defense. The ability offensively to not get stagnant, to continue to move the basketball and react to their switching is going to be important. And just in general, getting back, it'll be good to get back on the court here in the Spectrum.
Especially after, again, the 2 losses last week and especially the one on Saturday night. Besides this one tonight, Wyoming and New Mexico are starting on CBS Sports Network at 8 o'clock, and San Jose State and UNLV are playing at 8 o'clock. And tomorrow night, 2 games, both on television. Boise State, Colorado State is on FS1 at 8, and at 9 o'clock tomorrow night, San Diego State and Fresno State at 9 o'clock will be coming up. And then, of course, we're back in the Spectrum on Saturday for the Aggies game against Nevada, which starts at 6, where they retire J.C. Carroll's jersey. So that's it for game day for the sponsors and for Jalen and all of you. We appreciate you joining with us, and join us after the game. Your calls, your texts, your listening ears as the Aggies and Air Force. Let's hope we're talking wins.
The station for news and talk. KVNU Logan, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
From ABC News, I'm Daria Albinger. After more than 60 mass shootings this year, President Biden